An introduction to GDPR. Hello and welcome to your GDPR training. Now I know what you're thinking, GDPR is complicated and I'll never understand it, but you will. We split this training down into two sections to allow you the time to digest the information and ask any questions to your line manager. We'll run through the core legislation and discuss what that means in terms of working practices at Energy Angels. Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR as it's better known, came into force on the 25th of May 2018 and was designed to modernise laws that protect the personal information of individuals. Let's start with the aim, intention and purpose of GDPR. The aim of the regulation is to ensure good information handling practices. The intention of the new legislation is to strengthen and unify data protection for all individuals within the European Union. The primary purpose is to harmonise data privacy laws across Europe, as well as giving greater protection and rights to individuals. A fundamental change is how data is collected. The old system asked the general public to tick a box to opt out of receiving marketing materials. However, the new system now means that each individual must opt into receiving marketing materials and as such are agreeing to have their personal information held by the business in question. Now let's look at a summary of the rules. So you must obtain consent from the individual as discussed. This is now an opt-in and not an opt-out exercise. You must provide access to information held. It applies to all personal data. Data can only be kept for a specific purpose, and breaching the rules is a criminal offence. Now I'm going to take you through the 6 principles of the Act. We've got lawfulness, fairness and transparency, purpose limitation, data minimisation, accuracy, storage limitation, integrity and confidentiality. Article 6 of GDPR relates to lawfulness and states that you must provide an individual with the following information: identity of the organisation, contact details, purpose of the data held, transferal intention, period shared, right to access, rectify or erase, right to withdraw consent, and right to lodge a complaint. Now let's go into that in a bit more detail. All data held must be reviewed and have a clear explanation as to why it's being held. Consent from the individual must have been received. Remember, this is now an opt-in scheme for the individual. Contract will be made between the organisation and the individual, and legislation is designed to protect vital interests and the wider public interest. Robust IT security software must be employed and robust IT security policies must be in place. This means you can't have devices that can download data in the office environment. If any data is with a third party due to outsourced services such as HR and payroll, the liability remains with the original organisation. Therefore, this organisation must ensure that the third party is following the GDPR rules. And an organisation must have one director responsible for GDPR. In addition, there is a strict 72 hours in which any breach must be reported. Now, breaches must be reported to the Information Commissioner's Office, or ICO as it's known. An ICO can and absolutely will impose a fine if the 72-hour rule is not adhered to. And in addition to fines, criminal proceedings can also be brought against the director of the business responsible for GDPR. There must be documented procedures set up within the business. And there absolutely are within Energy Angels. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. That's the end of part 1. Now you'll have a short multiple choice test to complete to ensure your understanding of everything you've covered. For any questions, don't hesitate to speak to your line manager.